Imagine living in 24 hours of darkness for months at a time. Imagine the temperature hovering around minus 35 degrees. You can't get in or out. You didn't even get to pick the people you live with. And you're stuck there for a year. Antarctica in winter is totally inaccessible, which means once the last ship leaves in February, no one can get in or out of the place until the ship returns in November. Our next speaker did exactly that. Rachael Robertson led an expedition to Antarctica and was responsible for the welfare and safety of the 18 members of her team for an entire year. And today she will share with you how she led and inspired her team through the long, tough Antarctic year. Please welcome Rachael.
Hi, I'm going to get started straight away and jump in with Exhibit A. Any takers? Few. Anyone remotely interested? Anyone know someone you'd like to send down there? Wow. Well, 100 years ago, this is how we recruited for Antarctic expeditions. Shackleton put this ad in the newspaper over in London, and legend has it over 5,000 men applied, and that's how we filled the first ever expedition. Now, 100 years later, not much has changed. It is still bitterly cold. There is still months of complete darkness. Safe return is no longer doubtful. We do have workplace health and safety legislation now, so they're kind of obliged to bring us back or have a crack. And of course, women are welcome and wanted. But 100 years after this first appeared, not much has changed. In Australia, we still recruit for Antarctic expeditions by placing an ad in a newspaper. And I just answered the ad. That's the opening couple of minutes from a typical keynote of mine. I have delivered that keynote over 1,500 times all around the world over the past 15 years. I work at a lot of conferences and events when people are looking for a speaker who can offer practical tools that are simple, easy to remember, and most importantly, they're proven. I've proven these tools. The keynote's memorable too because it's wrapped up in Antarctica, which is a fascinating workplace, and that's what it was. The tools are relevant to any team environment, so schools and hospitals, private sector, small business, franchise. I've worked across the whole spectrum, and these tools apply to any team whatsoever. The keynote focuses on how I built a resilient and high-performing team during my expedition based on the mantra that respect trumps harmony, which that simply means we didn't have to love each other, we didn't even have to like each other, and we didn't, but we always had to treat each other with respect. And how I built respect in the team was by using 3 tools. The first one is no triangles, and no triangles simply means you don't speak to me about him. If someone has done something to upset you, you have the professional courtesy and respect to go direct to that person. You don't take it to a third party. The second tool I used was a thing called the Bacon Wars, and yes, it was actually a bacon war between 2 of the teams around whether the bacon should be soft or crispy. When I got to the bottom of it though, I found out it was actually one team thought the other team was cooking the bacon the opposite way to irritate them, and I realised this is actually nothing to do with bacon, it's about respect. The third tool I talk about is what I call leading without a title. And we had a plane crash in Antarctica. I had to lead the search and rescue following a plane crash. I had 4 of my people stranded 500 kilometres away. And on day 3 of the search and rescue, when we hadn't eaten all day, the search and rescue team, somebody had plated up a meal for us and put them aside so that we didn't miss out on dinner. And when I spoke to that person and I said, that's fantastic leadership, she said to me, oh, I'm not the leader. Rick is the leader. And I said, well, no, that's a title. Leadership isn't a title. Leadership is a behaviour. You saw something that needed to be done and you just did it. That's leadership. My content and stagecraft has got me to where I am today, where I'm now presenting 2 or 3 events a week and have been for the last 15 years. But now that we're moving completely online and large gatherings won't be happening in the foreseeable future, production values are going to be the thing that determines the difference between an okay kind of experience and something that is outstanding and memorable. And I understand that you'll be trusting me with your clients and your audience. And so I've invested heavily in the production values for my studio. I've got my own studio here, and I've got my own AV team who will be with me at every event, operating the cameras and the lights and the vision switcher, so I can concentrate 100% on delivery. We've redesigned the keynote so that it is a lot more interactive. There's live polling, there's voting, there's Q&A, and we'll keep it really interactive. But it also has the fantastic photos and videos and all the stories of Antarctica that have made it memorable, and have people coming up to me 10 years later reminding me of an event I spoke at, and they still remember the Antarctica pictures. So they'll still all be there. One of the challenges of being based in Australia is it limits how often I can work internationally, simply because of the travel time required and the cost of flying internationally. Now I have my own studio. I can deliver the same keynote online to wherever you are in the world, whether you're in London, Paris, New York, Michigan, Detroit, Chicago, anywhere, I can come to you at no additional cost. The beauty of the Antarctica story is that Antarctica has a global recognition. People are fascinated with Antarctica, and very few people ever get the chance to visit Antarctica. So I love bringing a little piece of that place into your conferences and your events, and I look forward to catching up with you soon. Take care.